Hi, and welcome to the Kickstart My Franchise podcast. I'm your host, Tim Michaels. On today's episode, I'm joined by the founder of a fun emerging franchise concept called Caffe Aronne. I'm thrilled to have Aaron Dahan joining me today. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, Tim. Appreciate it.
Would love to, learn just what exactly is Caffe Aronne.
That's a good question. So essentially what we're a disruptor in the coffee industry and the franchising. What we've done is we've realized that the majority of good coffee in our industry doesn't necessarily taste good because of the coffee itself. We're finding that most of the beans are not organic, coming from not fair working environments that are not taking care of people involved, often coming at a much higher cost simply for the benefit of profiting. And what we've come and done is we've brought beans that come from farms that are owned, run, managed by indigenous women, and we'll bring them to people at a quicker turnaround at a lower cost. And we're getting fantastic feedback with it.
It's fantastic. How long have you been doing this for?
We've been doing it, really, we started as a coffee roaster about 6 years now. The franchise itself is fairly recent, only about maybe 3, 4 months.
That's fantastic. I know I've seen you at a few expos here. I've gotten to
Yeah.
try some of your products. They're
Yes. Yeah.
fantastic.
Thank
Can
you.
you
Thank you.
talk to us a little bit about sort of the full menu of products? Just walk us through sort of all the different options.
Definitely. So what we've tried to do, we've tried to limit the amount of ingredients that our franchisees are going to have. By doing so, we've been able to create a fantastic menu that use similar type beans as well as similar type milks, and just altering different milks, different flavors to have fantastic, uh, similar ingredient but different flavored drinks. So we can do espressos, cappuccinos, lattes, matchas, chais. By incorporating a blender, we can start doing frappuccinos, frappes, and we do have a pretty interesting list of pastries that we offer shelf stable, which I think you've tasted, as well as we help our franchisees find local bakeries that they can work with.
Yeah, no, they've tasted fantastic. My kids loved a lot of the stuff that you sent over. As far as like the actual, you know, is this a physical location? What does that look like? Are
It's
you
a good
going to build
question.
out?
It's a good question. We have both options. We have brick and mortar, but what we really push is the kiosks. The kiosks are our catering vehicles, our signature. They're in turnkey fashion, so essentially they can get started right away. We can move them into a mall, an airport, a hospital, an office building lobby, anywhere that has good foot traffic. Pay minimal rent because we're paying the rent of a kiosk, not of a coffee shop, but do coffee shop sales. So
Hmm. And is that movable? Like, let's
yeah,
say, you're in one location and for whatever reason it's not quite as high a foot traffic.
hmm
Like, how
definitely.
easy or difficult would it be for a franchisee to sort of move?
It's incredibly movable. The benefit of that is that what we tell our franchisees, there's no sunk cost in the landlord space. Meaning, if we build a
Yeah.
brick and mortar coffee shop, there's going to be a certain cost that goes into the space itself you can't take out with you, whether it's plumbing, any built-in tables, built-in bars. Maybe you need to get some work done for architecture. But if after 10 years you decide you don't want to renew your lease, you're stuck leaving that behind. That's going to your landlord. With our model, your vehicles are yours. You take it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the cost of one of those like vehicles versus the build out of, call it a small
It's a good
retail
question.
location?
It's a good question. The build outs usually are close to 150 to $200,000 for the build out. The vehicles themselves usually not more than 120. It depends on the cost of the vehicle, which we buy from the manufacturers directly, and then they don't do the construction work for us. We actually do the construction, the wrapping, putting in the plumbing ourselves. All that we do that here in New York. Um, but usually it's about 120,000 or so. So when it comes to the coffee industry, I mean, the average coffee shop is costing in the U.S. about 300,000 to build. We're coming way
Well,
below with much
yeah.
lower risk.
Hmm. What does a day in the life of a franchisee look like? And is this something that somebody can do semi-absentee or is it
Yeah,
only owner operator?
definitely can be done semi-absentee. I would say that the day in the life is, we have in all of our locations, we have security cameras, so people could see what's going on in real time in their locations, can follow and see. We have a good amount of software that's going to track inventory, sales, whatnot. So do franchise owners need to be on site? Not necessarily. Not at all times, at least. We recommend to be on site probably once, twice a day to come in, see, hello. It's very important that the people that are getting involved are also extroverted. People have to want to be there.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the coffee industry is, I always tell people that hypothetically, we could have horrible tasting coffee, but if you serve it the right way with a smile, that's what people come for. They come for the conversation, for the talking, for the hospitality part of things.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. And what kind of hours, is this typically open?
Mhm. Well, we usually open about an hour before a mall or the airport itself opens because we realize that a good amount of our sales are going to go straight to the staff, the people that are working there. It's a huge benefit.
Yeah, got it. And so how long is it open then throughout? Like what time would a typical
Usually they
close?
open around 8 a.m., close at
Okay.
7 p.m. That's going to be
Perfect.
divided between two shifts.
Okay. So how many people would you need to actually run one of these businesses?
We actually structure that you have one person working for every $100 in sales. So on weekdays,
Okay.
it's usually going to be one person at a time. Weekends, probably two, just because it gets a lot busier weekends.
Okay. And you mentioned, it's preferable to be an extrovert, somebody who likes talking to people. Any other qualities that you guys are really looking for in your franchisee candidates?
I would say we want somebody that's a team leader, somebody that understands that you do need to put the benefit of the overall team, the business first. You know, if somebody's saying I want more hours, I want to work more, but it doesn't necessarily work with the numbers side of things, the business, it's going to be
Hmm.
a problem. So
Hmm.
we want to make sure that people understand that, you know, by trying to help one and putting everybody else in detriment is not necessarily helping at all.
Hmm.
So we want that. We want people to be, as you mentioned, extroverted, willing to talk, willing to calm down a situation. Oftentimes there are issues with staff. And not to escalate, to be there for people, to help customers, to learn more, to help, things like that.
So I'm putting myself in the shoes of a prospective franchisee. There's 4,000 different franchises out there in the U.S. Why should I join Caffe Aronne?
We're an all organic brand that has put people before profits. We have an immense following on social media, on Yelp, on Google. People have been saying they enjoy the flavors. People enjoy the company. People enjoy that we put them first before our profits. And it's something that you don't find anymore, unfortunately. It's sort of that old style of really making the customer first. And I find that these days you find more corporations, taking over. We've seen, most coffee chains farms in South America are now owned by Coca-Cola, owned by Nestle, owned by
Mm,
big brands that quite honestly don't care. Child slavery in this country is a very real thing,
mm.
So it's you got
Yeah.
to sort of think of where does your coffee come from?
So I talk with candidates a lot who say to me, I want a business that I can scale. Can you talk about the scalability of this business model?
Yeah,
Can I start with one and expand from there?
definitely. You certainly can. It sort of turns back to something that we spoke about earlier, which is the software. We have all these systems in place that allow you to watch your sales, watch your inventory, which help you lower the rent. They'll lower your labor costs because you now don't need to have somebody there spending 2 hours a day counting inventory. The system will do all that for you quite effectively. And to do that across locations is what we've done as a corporate. And we have locations in New York. We have a location opening soon in Florida. We're exploring the option of opening a location in San Francisco, as well as an international location. So we've sort of come and put that first by example, that you are able to open multiple locations, multiple places, things like that.
Yeah. I know you're limited a bit as far as what you can say around earnings, but is there anything you can give people as far as like what's potentially feasible,
Yeah.
to make?
We've seen the overall return come up generally within a year, which is fantastic. We've been able to see our profitability at about 30%. It's something unbelievable in the coffee industry. The coffee industry are looking usually around 5 to 7%, if at all.
Wow.
Something that's made us incredibly, incredibly excited for our franchisees and for the options out there.
And what do you attribute most of that increased margin to? Is it due to pricing power, due to the lower build out costs?
I think it's the low build out costs, not needing architects, not needing plumbers, not needing all that. Turnkey
Mhm.
means that you're not going to have wasted months paying rent without being open because you're waiting on permits. I think because we buy directly from the farms, where most people are paying, $16 a pound for coffee, we're paying closer to 9. It's a bunch of things. I think also our software overall has helped us. And we pay software for one system franchises to pay $130 for that helps them save on inventory. It'll track inventory in real time. It saves, one, on the actual inventory and the losses, but two, it's also going to help you save time and labor. I mean, to pay somebody a month's worth of time to do that, it'll cost you about 1,000, 1,200 a month just in time
Yeah.
that person's doing labor.
Mhm.
So, I mean, all these things didn't happen overnight. It's something we've done over the past 6 years, and we're excited to integrate it all into the franchises.
Mhm. So I've decided, I want to become a franchisee. How quickly can I get this up and running?
90 days.
Wow.
We always have more coming in. We always have more units. We have a lot of excitement. We're really excited, and we're looking to grow.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else I didn't cover that you think is important people know about your brand or the opportunity?
I would say it's important to know, as you've seen. I think we're pretty family oriented. We're out there to talk, to meet people. It's all on the person. I mean, we're not like a Dunkin' Donuts style where we don't really know what's going on. We have those kind of locations where people come in, we know their names, we know their orders, we know their dogs' names. So it's all family, it's all neighbors, and it's something we're looking to spread around the country. So we're really excited.
Well, fantastic. Appreciate you coming
Robert,
on and hope people
thank you for
will
the
check out.
opportunity.
Yep. Awesome.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Cheers. Have a nice day.
If you enjoyed the discussion, please see the full episode on our YouTube channel or Spotify podcast links below.